Okay, let's unpack this because uh, if your brain feels like it's just been, launched from a quantum catapult this week, trying to keep up with all the AI news,
Oh, yeah,
you are definitely in good company.
definitely.
The sheer speed of these advancements, I mean, one minute it's AI writing its own code, the next it's showing up in our favorite streaming shows. It feels less like an upgrade and more like reality just took a sharp, kind of unexpected turn.
It really does feel that way.
Yeah.
And what's striking isn't just the new capabilities, but the fundamental ways AI is actually learning
Mm.
and how it's getting integrated.
Exactly. And that's really where we come in. Welcome to the deep dive.
Hmm.
Think of this as your, well, expertly guided tour through this recent AI whirlwind. It's a way to get the crucial insights without getting bogged down in, the endless headlines.
Yeah, we've been sorting through the latest AI technology weekly news and updates.
We have, looking at everything from like AI's surprising knack for code
Right.
to its growing presence in our entertainment and even how it might change how we build with Lego.
Our aim here is really just to help you feel genuinely informed about these developments. They're so
Yeah.
rapid.
Yeah.
To sort of extract the signal from all that noise so you can understand what's really significant, without feeling completely overwhelmed.
Right. So with this absolute torrent of innovation, I mean, where do we even begin?
It's a lot.
Well, one area that really caught my eye was this idea of AI not just like executing code, but actually figuring out better ways to do it itself.
Yeah.
Take AlphaEvolve from Google DeepMind. This Gemini-powered agent used a kind of digital survival of the fittest.
Right, that Darwinian approach.
Exactly. To discover more efficient algorithms for, get this, multiplying matrices. Now, that might sound pretty abstract.
They're abstract,
But apparently it shattered a 56-year-old record.
which is pretty amazing. And what makes AlphaEvolve so interesting is it's a methodology,
How it works.
Yeah, it uses two models. There's Flash, which is like the brainstormer, just
Right.
generating tons of potential solutions really fast. And then there's Pro, which acts like a really rigorous peer reviewer. It refines those ideas. This whole iterative process, brainstorm, critique, refine, it's a really powerful engine for innovation.
Right. It's almost like AI has its own internal R&D lab, just constantly experimenting and improving.
Pretty much.
And this isn't just about, winning bragging rights on some obscure benchmark.
Yeah.
This has real practical implications, like making things like TPU circuits. Those are Google's specialized AI chips, right?
The tensor processing units.
Making those and even how data gets routed in their massive data centers much more efficient.
Yeah.
So we're talking about AI essentially breeding smarter AI infrastructure.
Yeah.
That's a pretty wild thought.
It really is. And, if we look at Absolute Zero from RLVR, we see another really fascinating approach to AI learning.
Okay, what's that?
This model basically creates its own coding and math puzzles.
It makes its own problems.
Yeah, then it solves them, and then it checks its own work. And the key thing is, it doesn't rely on any pre-existing human-labeled data, or even hints from us.
Whoa. No scraped data, no human holding its hand, and yet it still performs really well on these complex tasks.
Exactly.
That makes you wonder, doesn't it? Are we seeing the very beginnings of something like, I don't know, genuine machine curiosity?
It does feel a bit like that.
This sort of inherent drive to learn and build understanding right from the ground up, like AI teaching itself, starting from zero.
Well, what's particularly notable about Absolute Zero, I think, is that it suggests a path towards complex problem solving that doesn't necessarily need these huge human-curated data sets.
Right, less reliance on us feeding it everything.
It highlights the potential for AI to develop really sophisticated reasoning skills just through self-directed exploration.
Okay, so from AI inventing its own code. Let's kind of shift gears. Let's see how it's starting to weave its way into our daily lives, especially the media we consume. Netflix is now experimenting with AI-integrated ads, right? Subtly blending brand imagery right into shows like Stranger Things. That feels a bit like stepping into a different reality.
It does. And what's intriguing here is the attempt to make advertising feel, well, less disruptive.
How so?
By using what they call generative models, AI, that can create new data, like images that just blend right in visually.
Seamlessly.
Yeah, seamlessly. And by timing these insertions with peak points, those really engaging moments in a show, Netflix is trying to create a more integrated advertising experience, less jarring.
It's like the next evolution of product placement, isn't it? But on a whole other level.
Kind of.
You're engrossed in a scene and suddenly, wait, is that a familiar logo subtly in the background? It raises some interesting questions, doesn't it?
For sure.
About how we perceive advertising the whole race to capture our attention. And you mentioned YouTube is exploring similar stuff.
Yeah, we're seeing a trend across the major platforms,
Mhm.
exploring these less intrusive forms of advertising.
Trying to make it feel more like part of the show.
Exactly. Make the promotional content feel more part of the overall experience, not a jarring interruption. Now, how effective that'll be and how users will react, well, that remains to be seen.
Yeah, time will tell on that one. Then there's Pika Labs. They had that ad described as this wild mix of like Studio Ghibli and Mad Max.
Oh, right, with the explosions turning into watercolor effects.
Yeah, this idea of peakifying reality, it definitely sparked a lot of conversation.
It did.
Some thought it was super clever, creative. Others felt maybe it was a bit too, I don't know, lighthearted given the themes.
Well, that example really highlights how subjective AI-generated content can be, doesn't it?
Totally.
What's imaginative and engaging for one person might feel, inappropriate or jarring to someone else.
Right.
The fact that it got such a strong reaction just underscores AI's growing role in shaping our cultural landscape and sparking debate.
Absolutely. It's not just about functional AI anymore. It's AI that can evoke emotions, get people talking. And speaking of creative tools, 11 Labs has this SB1 Infinite Soundboard.
Yeah, the sound effect generator.
Just typing in a description like a creaky wooden door slowly opening in a spooky old house, and boom, you get a high-quality sound effect. That sounds amazing for creators.
Oh, it's a fantastic example of AI democratizing creative workflows.
So?
Well, much like Canva made graphic design accessible to almost everyone.
Right. Yeah.
SB1 could potentially do the same for sound design. It lowers the barrier for podcasters, game developers, filmmakers, anyone needing custom audio. Lets them focus on the core creative stuff.
It's that idea to reality speed, isn't it? We're seeing it across so many creative fields, all powered by AI.
Definitely.
And then Lego GPT from Carnegie Mellon. You can type in futuristic spaceship, and it generates step-by-step Lego instructions and a 3D model.
And they even use robotic arms to physically build some of them.
No way. That's like bringing your wildest childhood Lego dreams to life.
What's particularly interesting about Lego GPT, I think, is its ability to translate natural language, just words, into very precise, sequential instructions for a physical task.
Yeah, that connection seems key.
Exactly. That link between understanding language and controlling robotics has really exciting implications for education, maybe even automated manufacturing down the line.
It's moving beyond just the digital realm, isn't it? AI is increasingly able to interact with and influence the physical world. It's fascinating. And for those creators maybe already feeling overwhelmed managing their online content, Spotter Studio sounds potentially useful.
Yeah, the YouTube Creator Hub.
Right, like a central control room, helping with identifying trends, brainstorming ideas, keeping projects organized. Things like Outliers and Idea Bank sound really helpful.
Spotter Studio definitely addresses a crucial need for online creators. Staying ahead of the curve and efficiently managing all the complexity of the workflow.
Keeping all the plates spinning.
Exactly. By integrating these essential tools, trend analysis, ideation, project management into one platform, it lets creators be more data-driven, more streamlined, frees up time for the actual creative work.
Okay, so we've seen AI helping write better code, getting creative in media. What about the more practical day-to-day stuff?
Yeah.
Productivity, enterprise applications.
Or the work side of things.
ChatGPT 4.1 had some pretty notable updates, didn't it? A faster, lighter version for quick questions.
Yep, mini variant.
Improved abilities for analyzing code. And finally, and I'm sure there was a collective sigh of relief here, the option to export entire chats as PDFs.
Thank goodness for that one.
Right.
But yeah, these updates to 4.1 really signal a move towards greater practicality, better usability.
How so?
The smaller, faster model is great for those quick, simple queries. And the better code analysis and PDF export. That significantly boosts its value for research, collaboration, information sharing, especially in professional settings.
Yeah.
It's about making AI a more integrated, less cumbersome part of how we actually work.
Fewer awkward copy-paste workarounds, more actual productivity. I can definitely get behind that.
Me too.
And Windsurf had some interesting news too, right? With their SW1 models. Specialized AI for different parts of the software development process.
That's right. They introduced SWE1, SWE1 Lite, and SWE1 Mini. It's a strategic effort to tailor AI assistance to specific coding tasks.
Like different tools for different jobs.
Exactly. This specialization can lead to more efficient and effective code generation, debugging, review, whatever the stage. And their emphasis on the autonomy of these models is significant too.
Autonomy.
Yeah, potentially offering developers more flexibility, maybe less reliance on specific vendors, less vendor lock-in.
Interesting. It feels like we're heading towards a future where our AI assistants are much more finely tuned to the specific roles we need them to play.
That seems to be the direction.
And GenSpark sounds like it's taking that idea even further with its autonomous workflows.
Ah, yes, the set it and forget it idea.
The example of taking a TikTok clip and automatically generating a content calendar from it, extracting trends, filling spreadsheets, drafting headlines, all without a human stepping in.
That's the vision, yeah.
That really is the future office assistant they seem to be envisioning.
GenSpark's approach definitely highlights the potential for these AI agents to handle routine, time-consuming tasks with minimal human oversight.
Digital colleagues.
Exactly. Having autonomous digital colleagues could fundamentally change how work gets structured, how it gets executed, allowing us humans to focus on more strategic, more creative stuff.
And speaking of connecting different pieces of information, Notion AI's expanded capabilities with enterprise search. That sounds huge.
It is potentially very powerful.
Being able to pull information from platforms like Slack, GitHub, Google Drive, Jira, it's like turning Notion into this central all-knowing knowledge hub.
Well, Notion's integration of cross-platform search really transforms it, doesn't it? From just a powerful note-taking app into a truly centralized information repository.
Breaking down silos.
Precisely. The ability to access and synthesize information from across all these different work platforms, plus the context-aware suggestions. It greatly enhances productivity and knowledge sharing within organizations. Information gets trapped less often.
It's as if all our different digital tools are finally able to talk to each other effectively through this AI layer.
That's a good way to put it.
And this broader concept of agentic AI invading the enterprise, AI orchestrating entire workflows, like the examples of Qlik's data pipelines or Salesforce's CRM wizards, that sounds like a major leap beyond just basic automation.
Oh, it is. Think about it. Imagine telling an AI to plan a marketing campaign.
Okay.
Instead of just suggesting a few steps, an agentic AI might autonomously schedule meetings, research target audiences on its own, draft ad copy, maybe even monitor performance and adjust, all by itself.
Wow, so it's not just following rigid rules.
Yeah, exactly. Traditional automation follows a fixed script. Agentic AI can understand broader goals, it can adapt to changing circumstances, and it can autonomously manage complex sequences of tasks.
Yeah.
That level of flexibility and intelligence, that's potentially transformative for how businesses operate.
Okay, so all this incredible AI, it needs a strong foundation to run on, right? Let's talk infrastructure for a second.
Crucial underpinning, yeah.
Gemini is popping up in more and more places on Android devices, smartwatches, cars, TVs, even those XR goggles.
It's becoming ubiquitous in their ecosystem.
It really feels like Google is making a big bet on AI being this seamless, always available part of our digital lives, just there.
Google's strategy is clearly about deep integration, weaving AI across their entire ecosystem of products, services, making it pervasive, readily accessible.
And making it feel natural.
Right. The aim is to make AI assistants feel intuitive in our daily routines, whether it's navigating traffic or translating languages on the fly.
And then you've got Microsoft. They seem to have a finger in so many pies in the AI coding world.
They're very well positioned.
Their stake in OpenAI, the underlying tech of VS Code showing up in tools like Windsurf and Cursor, it feels like they're strategically placed at multiple layers of this whole AI-powered development boom.
Absolutely. They're involved in the IDEs developers use, the actual AI models, and the critical cloud infrastructure with Azure GPUs that powers it all.
It's like they own the coffee beans in the cafe.
That's a good analogy.
Ah!
Their influence spans key layers of the AI tech stack. Their strategic positioning is really noteworthy.
And it's not just the tech giants making these big strategic moves, is it? There's also this interesting international collaboration happening.
Between ARM, SoftBank, and Carnegie Mellon.
Yeah, that $15.5 million investment aimed at strengthening AI ties between the US and Japan, specifically for fundamental research. That feels significant, especially with all the talk about semiconductor supply chains and geopolitics.
It really underscores the global nature of AI development. Access to talent, research capability, critical hardware like chips. These are increasingly vital factors in the international race for AI leadership. Partnerships like this are crucial for driving innovation and tackling shared challenges.
Right. Now, looking beyond the immediate applications, there are some really intriguing emerging concepts bubbling up.
Yeah, some forward-looking stuff.
Mem0, for instance. Its goal is to create a standard way for AI agents to store and share context locally.
Open source and privacy-friendly, which is key.
Exactly. The idea of our AI assistants actually remembering our previous interactions, not starting from scratch every single time. That would be a huge leap in user experience, wouldn't it?
Oh, massive. It would make interacting with AI feel less like talking to a digital goldfish with no memory.
Right. Less repetitive.
Mem0 really aims to address that fundamental limitation. The lack of persistent memory and shared context in current AIs. By setting up a standardized, privacy-conscious way for agents to retain and access info, it could lead to much more natural, coherent, and ultimately just more useful interactions.
It feels like we're gradually inching towards this idea of maybe a single super assistant.
The omnipresent helper.
Yeah, where all these different AI capabilities start to converge into one thing. Maybe something like the much talked about GPT-5 with advanced reasoning, access to all sorts of tools.
It seems plausible.
But it makes you wonder, as these interactions become more and more seamless, will we even be fully aware of just how much AI is operating in the background? Will we forget it's even there?
That's a really interesting point about technological progress, isn't it? As tech becomes more deeply integrated, less visible, there's a risk of taking it for granted.
Yeah.
And maybe not fully appreciating its impact on our lives, on society. Maintaining some awareness, some critical thinking is going to be important.
Definitely. And then there's this kind of mind-bending research coming out about emergent social norms in LLMs.
Oh yeah, the Science Advances study.
The idea that these large language models are spontaneously developing behaviors that look like fairness or negotiation.
It's fascinating, right?
Yeah.
And it raises some really profound questions about intelligence, about how we interact with these systems.
How is that even possible?
The fact that these models are exhibiting what appear to be social behaviors suggests a level of complexity we're still really struggling to fully understand.
It's like they're holding up a weird mirror to human interaction. Very unexpected. On a more practical, maybe slightly worrying note, the sheer volume of AI research papers being generated, partly thanks to tools like ChatGPT making it easier to write them.
The paper flood, yeah.
It's apparently creating a real strain on the peer review process in academia, making it harder to separate the signal from the noise.
It's a double-edged sword. The rapid increase in AI publications presents both opportunities, faster sharing of ideas, and challenges.
Like overwhelming the system.
Exactly. Significant pressure on peer review, concerns about maintaining quality and rigor. But, the flip side is this pressure might actually drive innovation in how we evaluate and validate new findings, maybe lead to more rigor.
Interesting take. And finally, there's this ongoing tension within the corporate world, this speed versus safety dynamic.
Always a balancing act.
The CNBC reports suggesting research might be getting rushed, safety checks potentially pressured by revenue goals. That definitely raises some eyebrows.
It highlights a critical challenge, doesn't it? Finding the right balance between that drive for rapid innovation and the absolute imperative to ensure safety, responsible development.
Because the risks are high.
Extremely. Moving too quickly without adequate safeguards can have significant consequences. It really underscores the importance of thoughtful governance, careful oversight.
Absolutely. Okay, wow, we have covered a massive amount of ground.
We really have.
But before we wrap up, just a quick rundown of some other interesting bits and pieces we saw.
Yeah, the quick fire round.
Manus AI is now out of waitlist, offering free credits. TikTok has a new feature letting you turn a single photo into a short video.
Kind of cool.
Sam Altman mentioned ChatGPT being helpful with parenting, which is maybe a surprising use case.
Didn't see that one coming.
And Whisper Large V3 Turbo, the speech-to-text model, is now significantly faster and cheaper.
Which is great for accessibility.
It really does feel like these AI advancements are becoming woven into so many different aspects of our daily lives, doesn't it?
These examples really just underscore the breadth and speed of it all. AI tech evolving, finding its way into super diverse applications, creative tools, personal productivity, even family life.
Yeah. And that visual storytelling in 4 boxes concept
Yeah.
that someone in the community came up with.
Using the free ChatGPT tier, right?
Yeah, using a simple 2x2 panel prompt to create educational infographics. It's just really clever and accessible. Using AI for learning, for communication.
It's a great example of that grassroots innovation. Users finding creative, practical ways to use these tools. The simplicity and effectiveness just highlight AI's potential to empower individuals in classrooms and marketing wherever,
Totally. We also saw some pretty impressive progress in scientific fields, too.
like HDXRank.
Yeah, building on AlphaFold 2 to improve predictions of protein complexes. That
Absolutely.
has huge implications, right? Speeding up drug discovery, understanding diseases better.
Definitely. HDXRank really exemplifies the transformative potential of AI in fundamental scientific research. Improving the accuracy of those protein predictions can significantly accelerate discoveries in medicine, biology, real tangible benefits for human health.
That's AI tackling some really fundamental, high-impact challenges where lives are affected. And Claude, Anthropic's coding assistant, now has the ability to be interrupted and redirected mid-task.
Plus web search and unlimited use, right?
That feels like a real step towards a more collaborative AI experience, doesn't it? Not just AI giving static answers, but more dynamic interaction, like a true assistant.
It absolutely reflects that growing trend towards more interactive, adaptable AI assistants, being able to adjust priorities on the fly, access real-time info from the web. It makes these tools much more versatile, better suited for complex, iterative work.
Right. And finally, who could miss the Tesla Optimus dancing video?
The robot boogie.
Yeah. Balancing, pivoting, even doing a little body roll. Now, it might seem a bit lighthearted,
A bit goofy, maybe.
but it shows real progress in robotics, doesn't it? The increasing ability to control these humanoid forms with more dexterity, more nuance.
Absolutely. While the dancing is visually striking, maybe a bit of a PR stunt, the underlying advancements in things like actuation, balance, control, those are significant. They represent real progress in merging sophisticated software with physical embodiment, paving the way for more capable, more versatile robots in the future. Household helpers, maybe?
Yeah, tangible steps towards those sci-fi visions of robots working alongside us, maybe even in our homes.
Getting closer.
And all of this seems to be leading up to what people are calling the week of grand AI reveals.
The big convergence.
Microsoft Build and Google I/O happening basically at the same time, plus all the anticipated announcements from Anthropic, DeepSeek, Grok.
It's like the Comic-Con of AI news.
Exactly. All the major players vying for attention, CEOs giving keynotes. We're probably going to see new multimodal features, maybe price wars.
It really signals a period of intense competition and super rapid innovation in the AI space. We can likely expect significant advancements, shifts in strategy as everyone competes to lead the way.
Wow. Okay. It really does feel like we've just sprinted through a marathon in zero gravity trying to keep up with all of this.
It's a lot to take in.
Self-learning algorithms, increasingly personalized experiences, amazing new tools for creative expression, fundamental changes in how businesses operate.
The crucial infrastructure that underpins it all, and these fascinating emerging concepts pushing the boundaries of what we even thought was possible.
And if we connect this back to that constant drumbeat of latest AI technology updates we started with, it's just crystal clear that the pace of innovation isn't just rapid, it genuinely seems to be accelerating.
It does feel that way. A continuous cycle of development, deployment, constantly reshaping the technological landscape around us.
So as we all try to process this, maybe the final thought for you, our listener, is something like this. We're not just developing AI anymore, we're increasingly interacting with these sophisticated systems in ways we're only just beginning to fully understand.
It's becoming a relationship almost.
Exactly. What does this evolving relationship look like? What are the implications, the opportunities, the challenges that lie ahead as we collaborate more with our silicon reflections?
It really feels like we're at the very beginning of a long and incredibly interesting journey.
Keep asking those questions. Keep engaging.